As you think, so shall you be. 7 little words that I think are perhaps the most important things that we can learn and master in our lives. This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long. And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about. You don't allow your thoughts to be on anything that you don't want or that you wouldn't want to have manifest or show up for you in your life.
If you want to know the difference in people's lives, it all comes down to what are the things that are must for you versus shoulds. So let me tell you this. We said to have an extraordinary life, you got to have an extraordinary psychology, right? Extraordinary psychology means you got to live in an extraordinary state. To be in an extraordinary state, you got to condition your nervous system, your body, your physiology and focus to be at their best. Do you agree with this? Yes or no? Then to do that, though, you can do that. Why doesn't everybody? Not because you can't. We all have the ability. It's because of our standards. Life will pay whatever price you ask of it. But you know what's interesting? You got to ask intelligently. In the Bible it says, ask and you shall what? Yeah, pretty good formula. You ought to look into it. But you know what? It says ask and you shall receive, but I'm sure it meant ask intelligently. I'm sure that's what God meant. I'm sure he didn't mean bitch and you will receive. Whine and you will receive. I don't think that was the instruction. Now, if you were going to ask intelligently, there might be 5 elements of that. Number 1, you'd have to ask specifically, wouldn't you? You wouldn't ask in a general way. People do it all the time. They go, I want more money. Fine, here's $1. Get out of here. Very often, you're getting what you're asking for. You're just not aware of how general you're asking. Clarity is power. The more clear you are about exactly what it is you want, the more your brain knows how to get there. Your brain is a servo mechanism. It's like a bomb. Those bombs, those missiles, they have a servo mechanism. So if the target moves, it knows what the target is, it follows it. Your brain, when you condition it, knows exactly what to go for and it'll find a way to get there.
Here's the second way to ask. Ask with faith. Faith is the childish part. It means believe you can get what you want like a child, not an adult. Many adults are too skeptical. They've lost that wonderful childlike faith and trust. Don't let that happen to you. Believe in, have faith in yourself and your goals. And get excited like a child. Childlike enthusiasm. Nothing can beat it. Kids think they can do anything. How exciting. They hate to go to bed at night and can't wait to get up in the morning. Develop that kind of enthusiasm toward your life and your goals. And be curious like a child. Kids can ask 1,000 questions. Just when you think they're finished, they come up with 1,000 more. They'll drive you to the brink. But it's really a virtue. Have plenty of curiosity. Ask questions. That's how you learn.
Have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. One of the central principles of my life is that no one knows enough to be a pessimist about anything. And that each and every one of us, when we close our mind to what is possible for us or what is possible for humanity, closes off the genius that resides and lives in each and every one of us. Having an open mind doesn't necessarily mean finding fault with all of the things that you've been taught by others. It means opening yourself up to the potentiality and the possibility that anything and everything is possible.
The next thing that's important to know, yes, it's possible that you can choose your future and direct the course of your life as you run toward your dream. It's necessary that you have goals, that you write those goals down, that you plan, that you think constantly of how you can begin to improve what it is that you're doing. If it's your presentations, if it's your recruiting skills, whatever that is, it's also necessary that you look for ways to always find a way to pull it out when everybody else thinks that you are defeated. That you've got to take personal responsibility to know that in order to become successful, you've got to make it your personal business to do it.
I think a tremendous amount of what you might regard as shadow integration, which in the parlance of behavioral psychologists would be something like assertiveness training, right? It's training in how to stand up for yourself and for your, let's say, for your better self, which would be the self that you could use productively over a medium to long period of time that would be of use to you, but also of use to people around you. So it's a self that's bounded by the necessity of taking care of yourself, but also simultaneously taking care of the people around you.
Information combined with emotion becomes a long-term memory, right? The state that you learn something and the mood and the feelings that you learn something in gets attached to what you want to learn. Also, it's going to motivate you to use it more often. If you learn, because here's the thing, learning is not a spectator sport. Learning is not a spectator sport. I'm going to give you 6 keys to learn anything faster. You can write these down. I want you to remember, be fast. Be fast. 6 keys to learn any subject or skill faster. Now I want you to think about, if you could learn any subject or skill faster, what would it be? Outside of learning how to learn. After learning how to learn, what subject? What are you interested in? Languages, very good. What else? Computer science, good. What else? Good. I mean, so whether it's martial arts or it's Mandarin, whether it's music or marketing, there are subjects that we're interested in, right? And we live in this expert economy and we want to be knowledgeable about things because knowledge is not only power, knowledge is profit, right? And so how do you access those things? So I want you to remember, be fast, and just 6 quick tips on how to just sensitize you. Now, every single one of these things you're going to understand because you're studied. And me as your super brain coach, if you will, I want to be a personal trainer for your brain, for your mind. I want to make it faster, sharper. And not everything I'm going to say is going to be something that's brand new. But if I maybe say it in a different way and you control your state, because going back to Stan, when I said responsibility, with great responsibility comes great power. The most important thing to be responsible for is how you feel. Does that make sense? And who controls how you feel? How many people are feeling pretty good right now? Yeah, and notice that these kind of things, you know why? Metaphorically, I look at you more like a thermostat than a thermometer. Is there a difference between a thermometer and a thermostat? Yes or yes? A thermometer does what? What does a thermometer do? What's the function? Yeah, it takes the temp, it reflects and it reacts to the environment. Is that true? It just reacts to the environment. And we are sometimes, we're thermometers. We react to the weather, if we're honest, the economy, to politics. We react to how people treat us sometimes. But is there a gap between how someone stimulates us and how we respond? Do we have choice? Yes or yes? The difference between a thermometer and a thermostat, though, is a thermometer reacts to the environment. What's the thermostat do, though? Yeah, it regulates, right? It helps manage. It sets a standard or a vision or a goal, and then what happens to the environment? It raises to be able to do that. Is there a difference? Yes or yes? And so that's where we're going back to responsibility. When we're talking about being responsible, the ability to be able to respond is how you feel about things and also how you focus on things.
You give yourself freedom to eat whatever you want, are you going to get healthier? No, so in that environment, you need to create a pain-pleasure response. In a relationship, you want less of those. Remember the story I told you yesterday about the quintuplets? You got to make sure you don't have too many rules, too many musts, or you're going to be in pain. And the more musts you have in your office, the more pain. Now, certain musts are needed because, see, we all need a context. We all need some limits to have value in our lives. See, this juice might be really tasty, but I need a glass in order to drink it. Because otherwise, this juice would drop between my fingers, so I need limits. Is that true? I definitely need limits. Because without the limits, I can't enjoy the juice of life. So somebody goes, I want no limits. Nah, that's not what you want. You just want to intelligently design limits so that they add value so you can be able to taste more of life. But you don't want to have no limits. If you have no limits, you don't get to have the juice. And you don't want to have, a glass that's this thin, or you're not going to be able to put very much juice in it. You follow me? So it's a delicate balance how you use rules and how you utilize them really to make a relationship work. So I was talking to him and I said, look, you got rules that make it so you can hold this much juice. That's why you don't have any friends. Now you don't want to make it out like this. Maybe you want to broaden it a little bit. He felt bad about it because he didn't even realize those are his rules. He said, well, I really do consider you my friend, but sometimes I question if you're my friend because you don't call me all the time. I said, you know what? I don't call anybody all the time except my wife and kids because that's the way I live. Because where I am, I'm there. I work all day, all night. I give my all. I said, but when I'm with my friends, I'm there forever. You ever need me, you call one call and say, I need your help. I'm there. You know, that's it. So what I try to do is help him expand his rules. So we need to do that in your office. So the question I'm going to ask you to write the answer down to is the following. By the way, I put up here again, the more you know about the people you care about, the more you know about the people you care about, the fewer upsets you'll experience. Does that make sense? The more you know about the people you care about, the fewer upsets you're going to experience, because you'll say, oh, that's right, that's their rule, they want to be respected. I don't like that so much, but that's their rule, and I want to respect it, just like I want them to respect my rules. So, you know, I'm going to work not to raise my voice with them. Not because I have to, but because I want to, because I care about them. And I want them to respect one of my rules, which is not theirs. And they don't want to do that, but they will for me. They'll do it as a favor to me, just like I'll do it as a favor to them. Not because I have to, because I want to, because I got a bridge with this person and I care about them. What keeps people who are connected from feeling loved all the time or feeling connected? I wrote down really 5 things. Number 1 is rules, and that's what we're touching on right now. People have different rules, and that keeps them from having the same reality and creates a lot of pain. 2 is assumptions as to what things mean. The other thing that destroys relationships is people going around assuming, well, they did this and that means this, rather than clarifying like you've been taught to do. The third thing that keeps people who really love each other from being together is style. See, some people's style makes the other person feel uncomfortable because the other person's rules are you never use that style. For example, some people talk really loud and fast all the time, and talking loud and fast is not part of that other person's style. The other person likes you to talk more soft and quiet and gentle. Because if you talk loud like this, that means to them you really don't care or you're obnoxious. Because if you're intelligent, you talk like they do. Or it might be intensity. Some people, even if you talk quiet, they don't like somebody who's intense all the time. If you're intense, they don't like you. They like you, they just don't like your style.